In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Yes. Another day, another week beginning, another week ending, and all the beautiful things of life continues. You're welcome to this beautiful Friday, the 10th of July, 2026. And we're here on our SSM Friday International World Affairs. My name is Mark Godwin Iwejuwa. Who am I with here?
Well, my name is George Chukwu, and good morning from Toronto, Canada, to all our viewers around the world. It is a pleasure to have you with us here today. Today is Friday. We're ending our week with a lot of news that we need to present to you, but we want you to get involved. Send us a text message, listen to us, and then give us your responses. We will appreciate that. So we want to welcome you from around the world, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're logging in from. We welcome you here today. Thank you.
Depending on where you're logging from, and somebody is joining us, not just logging, but being part of it. And who's that person there? Who's the man there?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Nigerians all over the world. Good afternoon, my brothers. Sir George from Canada, Mark from Germany, and from Nigeria, wherever you are, listen to us. Good afternoon, people of the world. Good afternoon, fellow Nigerians in diaspora.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Olufemi Obakaronwi.
Yeah. That's Dr. Olufemi Obakaronwi, the
Good
Oba
morning,
of London.
Dr. Olufemi.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Okay, viewers, this is it. 10th of July. We're here.
Represents you very well.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen.
Friday is your week.
Yeah. I always go to Nigeria. Everybody in my university knows I go to Nigeria on Friday. I come in Nigeria hospital on Friday.
Okay, nice. Okay, so let's get into it. Like we say, we unleash creative discussions, one show at a time, and we give our news updates from the Nigerians in diaspora standpoint. Anyway, let's start with the weather situation in Nigeria. Presently, not too pleasant. Flood is taking over everywhere. Places, homes are being taken off, cars and property. Even there's a story of a little boy has been swept off by the heavy flood. So now people are complaining. You know, we can complain. So people are saying the coastal highway also is causing this flood. And the minister there says, no, rather the coastal highway is addressing the flood. George, what do you have on this flood situation and the roads, the construction, the government building that some people say is adding to it?
following the news. I've been following the news, and what I have heard already, and from what I've read, the response from Minister of Works, Umahi, it raises a broader concern about the attitude of many public officials towards public accountability. Yes, he's my brother. He's from Enugu State. In a democracy, public servants entrusted with managing public resources, not individuals whose decisions are beyond question. And I was just reading some of his responses. So, if the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is indeed solving flooding rather than causing it, the most effective response is not defensiveness but transparency. The government should make available the engineering data, environmental impact assessment, and other technical evidence supporting that position. Projects funded by taxpayers deserve public scrutiny. Citizens have every right to ask tough questions, and government officials have a responsibility to answer with facts and not dismissing legitimate concerns. People are losing their properties. So even if it's the construction is causing it, the way he responds should be with facts. Confidence in a project is built openness, not by acting as though public criticism is unwelcome. Good governance is measured not by absence of questions, but by willingness to answer them openly and transparently. People are complaining. He
Openly
is a
and
servant to the
transparent.
people.
George,
It is
George,
taxpayer
we
money
want to
that
hear
is
you. Sorry, George. George, we want to hear you very clear. What you're saying is cogent. It's very pivotal to the discussion. I don't know. Somehow your audio draws back. It draws back. Is there something that we can do? Is there what we can do so that our audience can hear you very loud, clear?
Oh, so you're not hearing me very well? You're not hearing me?
No. Dr. Femi, can you hear him well?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear him clearly. I can hear him clearly.
Because,
I can hear him clearly.
From this here, it's dragging. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and I want to respond to that. Please, it is important for us as citizens of Nigeria not to see that everything is criticized for the sake of criticism, and every criticism should be taken as gospel truth. Flooding has been a major crisis in the delta part of Nigeria, especially Lagos and its environs. Flooding has always been a challenge, and the global climate change cannot be overemphasized in the effect of this in Nigeria as well. We are complaining about the level of heat in the Western world at this time of the year, and it would be a foolhardy for someone to say that it's because there's a government project, that's why there is heat here. That is what we're doing in Nigeria. The coastal road did not block any waterways. What we have been doing in Nigeria is our waste management process has been faulty at the state level. Waste management process has been faulty. Go and look at most of this flooded area. You will see the level of dirt in the flooding. People throw their rubbish in the waterways. And someone sit down because they've always criticized the coastal highway. They're now looking for an excuse to transfer this to coastal road. Now, tell me, I say that we should accountability. Accountability for what? Is there anything that everybody any Dick and Harry just complain about, that the government would now do a press conference? What is the relationship?
Yes.
What's the relationship? Anybody that said, what is the scientific relationship?
Yeah, Dr. Femi, we're also seeing the coastal way waterlogged. We are seeing that some part of the coastal way has begun to top. There are now big dogs of holes in some parts of the coastal way, the Lagos end of it. And we are seeing all of this. So now also, take note that, yes, we used to have flooding. We used to have big flood sweep people's house. Yes, it has been an issue in Nigeria. But what we're experiencing this time is hyper, is more than it has always been.
Exactly.
And yes, and for our people to observe that the coastal way could be adding to it, is not something we should put by the side. Take note.
We just use a word now. We just use a word now. Could be. Now, anyone that is coming up with that now will come with a scientific evidence to say that this is what it is. The problem of Lagos, I grew up in Lagos. The problem of Lagos is the waste management process. And our people are leveled with the management. What we have here, most of this coastal way, when it goes into communities where people live, this is lifted high above there. There are drainages under some of them. There are even driving under some of them. The issue here we're talking about here, are we saying that the waters in the hinterlands want to flow into the sea and it was blocked? If that is evidence to that, let somebody bring it out. But somebody cannot sit in their bedroom and say, oh, because there is flooding in Makoko and there is flooding in Ikorodu, it is because of the coastal way that is in island. Please, for goodness sake, let us be realistic.
Okay.
Not every criticism of government should be seen as gospel.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Let me ask a question. If you have been living in an area where this particular coastal road has not existed and you never had a flooding before, but all of a sudden they said constructing this, and out of that construction, all of a sudden, for the very first time since the road started being constructed, there is flooding in your area. Is it okay now for you to question whether this particular construction is causing it, or can you actually bring that complaint and to ensure that those who know better, those who are working on it, can look into it and not be dismissive? What I'm condemning, hold on, what I'm condemning is dismissive attitude, as if anybody that's asking questions is is just not acceptable or not welcome.
Sir George.
Dr. Omahi, hold on. Yeah. Minister Omahi is a public servant.
Thank you.
Subject to the people that their money is using to do this road.
No doubt about that.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. I just said, you said something, you were specific about something. You were specific. You came as far as being specific about a particular section of the road. Let's say there's a section between, let's say, a hotel and Aoyaya that is flooded, that wasn't flooded before. You were specific. But to be dismissive of a national project, you mentioned, you were specific, but to be dismissive, those who are complaining about this project were dismissive of the project. You are being reasonable. You are scientific about this, because what you did was to do your research. There was no flooding in this area before. Now there was flooding between Eko Hotel and Makoko. Therefore, what is the cause of this? Minister, come and explain. You are specific. But those who were complaining were not doing that. What they were doing was that, the reason why there's flooding was because of the coastal way. That's what they're doing. And that is one of the problems we have as in national discourse. And in national discourse, what we do is that we politicize national issue, destroy it because we don't like who is doing it. And at the expense of that, look at the issue of the First Lady talking about small-scale industry, small-scale investment. Look at the way some people destroy that. She mentioned investment in IT. She mentioned investment in SME. She mentioned 2 billion investment in small-scale industries. She mentioned, they dismiss all of that, and they were talking about Ankara and Kulikuli. They destroyed all that investment and all that lofty investment from women perspective.
Yes.
This is not the
Yes.
government perspective, because they did not like who was a messenger.
Yes.
They destroyed the message, and that's
Destroy
exactly
the
what they're
message.
doing now. Let's just be
And
realistic.
we won't take that with this organization, SSM, won't stand for sentimental, judgmental viewpoints or
Yes.
way people. Yes, we categorically condemn how social media influencers and all these brand influencers and all of that, how they went against that beautiful concept, Madam Her Excellency Remy brought for growth, economic growth in our country. Now, for this one, yes, we hear you, Dr. Femi. Minister Omar has also said this too. He concluded that the highway mitigates flood through advanced drainage system, and the ocean surge protection is what they were also checking. So it doesn't cause flooding and it doesn't destroy people's home. So let's go further to some other issues, local issues in Lagos. The federal government is demolishing structures for Lagos own coastal highway servicing line. Yes, we saw the governor warn people that will come to destroy. But, gentlemen, where we are looking at is our government doesn't make provisions for this helpless citizen in line to creating infrastructures and building things. They just come and make a whole community go into oblivion because of their own interest for good progress. Sir George,
Yes.
families are crying. I saw videos of people crying, not monkey cry, real
Okay.
wailing and crying
No.
because their
What I'm
homes,
saying, listen to this. That's what you
Yes,
call
sir.
eminent domain. An eminent
Okay.
domain is that the government can decide that it is profitable to build certain structures. If your property is in that place, it is the government responsibility to let you know ahead of time and to fairly and equitably compensate you. But what we are seeing most of the time is that maybe notices are being given and these people are not paying attention to it. So when finally the government comes and start demolishing, they start crying out because number one, when notices were being given, it might have been given to the owner of the property, but not to the tenant. So now all of a sudden they're crying, oh, the houses are being demolished and all that kind of stuff. But I honestly believe that the most important thing that the federal government should do is to make way for service lanes and improve flood control in some of these areas. While infrastructure development is very, very important, the recurring question remains, was due process followed and were affected property owners treated fairly? Sometimes they do. The government does this. But what happens? They receive these letters, they dismiss it because maybe they don't have anywhere to go, because they don't know what to do. And what happens at the end is when the government now begins to effectuate that particular program, people start crying. So what we're asking is too often in Nigeria, government announces projects, expects citizens to comply, simply accept the consequences without sufficient consultation, transparency, or adequate compensation. What I think for the livelihood of these people that are affected, if I'm going to come and demolish your house, I'm not just going to write you a letter. Let me send somebody to go and talk to these people because it's livelihood. Maybe this is
It's
your
livelihood.
ancestral, this is your ancestral land. This is a place where you've lived all your life, and this is your own property. So we believe that it
George,
is important. Yes.
No,
yes.
it is important.
George,
Let me
what about making provisions, some small provisions for redeployment, relocation?
no. It don't. Government don't work like that. Government
Okay.
don't work like that. Like
Tell
Sir
us how
George
government
says,
works.
like Sir George says, just said now. Most of the time, and this is the inhumanity of man to man in Nigeria. So let me tell you, most of the atrocities and the inhumane aspect of Nigerians is not from government. It is from common man to common man. I'll give you an example. Some land in around Ikotuegbe. The land was on a pipeline, and the government refused to give approval for it. Some people went as far as bribing people in the ministry. They allowed them, they gave them some fake papers. They built houses on it. When the government came and said those land were not approved, do you know what? The owners of those lands sold all their houses away, not telling the new owners that has been revoked. Not telling the new owners. So when the new owners bought the land was to be demolished. The notice had been on for 10 years, and they've been moving it, using lawyers to delay it. When they eventually went to Supreme Court and lost, and the houses were being pulled down, the new owners were crying. Meanwhile, the original owners knew about it. So when you're talking about that, you'll be blaming government. How will government go and compensate those who have been told 10 years ago, don't build on the land? Government will not compensate them. The issue is this: the system in Nigeria needs to be updated, and gradually we are getting there. So whenever you want, for example, in Lagos now, if you want to buy land, go to land, they will put it on it, they will track it online. Everything is digitalized now. They will track it online. They will tell you whether it's government acquisition or not, whether it's been signed, CFO have been signed on it or not. You will get it online. But the thing is, some people don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. They will bribe somebody, go and do it, and they give them fake, the surveyor will give them fake documentation. But if you go to the Ministry of Lands, you will get the documentation yourself. Sometimes, in order to save penny, we are pound foolish in doing some things. And eventually, when the government eventually come after you, you start crying online. But those houses that were built, some people are building on flood lanes. Flood lanes. They are building. Lagos State demolished something houses last year on flood. We're supposed to flood from the particular area. They were building on it. They even do concrete on the lane. They put a pillar inside the flood lane, and they build house on top of it. Government has to flush those out stuff.
Yes. Okay. Also, Dr. Olufemi. Okay. All right, George. Right.
You see, development should never come at the expense of justice and accountability. That is one thing. You see, in this particular situation right now, if these demolitions are truly in the public interest, the governments must provide clear evidence that all legal procedures were followed, environmental assessments were to serve, were properly conducted, and those displaced receive fair compensation where applicable. You see, what you are just revealing right now is wicked of man to mankind.
Thank you.
So, but yet, if I receive a fake document and I give bribe to somebody who approved for me to build on this land, it is the responsibility of the government to
fake
find
approval.
out who
Fake
was
approval.
empowered.
Fake approval.
Okay, so wait a minute. The government ought to find out those who were in power, who approved it, and hold them responsible. Because if I'm sitting in my office and you come to me and I am looking at the papers and I know this place is not to be built on, but I say for you to go and give me 3 million naira and I will approve it, and then I sign it, I'm responsible when it is found out. But this is something that we don't retroactively investigate who caused this problem and hold them accountable. You see, infrastructure should improve the lives of citizens, not leave them feeling
powerless. Not destroy them. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Also,
George, I agree with you.
I agree with you guys too.
I agree with
but
you.
I experienced what happened many years ago in the early 90s to 2000, when late 90s, when some towns and villages in the outskirts of Lagos were taken over from the individuals, Makoko, all those areas, Morocco, Ejileki, and all of those places. How they came and just took it from the owners, the ancestral owners. And do you know what? I had a particular boy that I know that his father died as a result of what they did. So what we're saying is, like we've all agreed in this network, it's time for our government to be doing things orderly. As we all want progress, we want to see a new structural arrangements in our land. But you don't just come and take people unawares overnight. dump them into gallows and, take their land from them like that. You say government doesn't work like that, but maybe we could begin to work like that. I'm saying this
That's
loud
why I
and
say
clear.
system. I
Yes.
will prefer we develop system than to say,
Okay.
oh, government official, government official. No, if
Okay.
system, I'm
The
an
system.
advocate of systems. If
System.
system work, if somebody leaves, somebody else comes to the office, the system will still be the same. System should begin to work. I want to tell you, I want to give it to Lagos State government about on issue of lands. Do you know in the past, Omonile used to disturb everybody everywhere? Gradually, it's been phased out. Gradually, it's being phased out. In those days, if you do Omonile will sell for 7, 8 people. Now you hardly find that anymore. Gradually, it is being phased out because system is working. So, for example, this one is what I call to Egbe. How can you justify when national pipeline goes through your compound? Pipeline, NMPC pipeline, go inside your compound when you drive on top of it. If it bursts, what will happen? Everybody around that will burn alive. You are supposed to be 100 meters away.
Your money sold land to those
Sold it. Omodile sold it. There was no government CFO. They went to go and forge. You did not go and check because somebody said, don't worry, government will not come there. They will not come there. And what we do is that instead of paying 2 million to government to go and check, you pay 500,000 for somebody to give you fake documents. And you went to go and sell the land to, like you said, that just says in wickedness to each other. And who are behind this? I used to say it, evil servants.
In conclusion, accountability and empathy must go hand in hand with development. There must be a balance on both sides of the equation. That's my conclusion there. Yes.
I agree with you.
Beautiful conclusion, George. Gentlemen, let's come down again. We're still talking Nigeria. Viewers, it's Friday and it's World Affairs, SSM World Affairs, this 10th day of July. Let's talk about a situation, a news that came out 2 days ago. US is deporting 124 Nigerians, and they published their names, their photos, and they said, in fact, when I heard that word, I was taking, it shook me. He says, these are the worst of the worst, the worst of the worst. We know these are our people, these are Nigerians, and a lot of time we want to keep such news private. SSM is out here to say all of it, in a positive way. It's sad to hear our people being described as the worst of the worst, and all being gagged up, chained. Some of them are chained in their legs. I saw the videos, and I was shaking my head like this, like real deadly criminals. Like those Mexican drug cartel, when they would chain them and the legs and put them like monkeys going into the cage. So, but let's talk about this. It's sad. It's a sad news, but this is the reality we have. Our people are being listed as the worst of the worst and being deported from the United States. Why are Nigerians not behaving well? George, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
You see, a dead fish when it starts stinking from the head. Now, if these Nigerians committed crimes, due process should take its course. But publishing names and photos raises questions about privacy, dignity, and whether the same standard is applied to everyone. Justice should be firm, but it should be fair and consistent. Because what is happening now is this. What is happening around the world, which Nigerian government should stop being beggarly. Honestly speaking. Because look at what's happening, the kind of disrespect being given to us in South Africa. If Nigerian government diplomatically will say no to some of this treatment against some of us, because the question you're going to ask yourself is this: are these criminals? Were they prisoner exchange type of people? No. These are regular citizens. Maybe because they're illegal in the United States, should they be treated this way? What would America feel like if their own people are being treated this way? It is not right. And what you are seeing in America today is where people are doing things their own way because of where you come from, the eyes and all those type of things. It's unfair. It's inhuman to publish somebody's name, malign them, destroy their own heritage and their legacy just simply because they're illegal citizens. It's not right. Human compassion ought to follow whenever stuff like this is being done. I condemn this in the highest form as it is. These are my people, and they should not be treated like animals. They should not. It
I,
is not
I,
right.
I totally concur with you. It is it's a shame that the so-called developed nations are showing sign of parochial uh, uh, attitude towards humanity. These are the nations that preach amnesty, they preach good governance, they preach human relationship and all that. They preach, but they preach something else, they do something else. Now, here is on the issue of safeguarding and also integrity of a nation being put to task. Now, if you look at the way this thing had gone, it's a reflection on the president of America, a president that can support the open shooting of citizens who oppose his ideology. Open shooting. ICE was shooting American citizens. If they can shoot the American citizens and kill them on the streets and nothing happened, are we surprised the way they're treating other nations? So this is a reflection on until America outlive the tyranny of Mr. Donald Trump. Now, some people, all because the man had put his mouth in Nigerian security issue, all of a sudden he's become a saint to them. Because he's not in the good, he wasn't in the good books of the current Nigerian government, he became a saint. But we know who Donald Trump is. He's a racist man, a racist to the core. So all these are just a reflection of who the leaders are. And you said in there, if you see a feed that is smelling, it started rotting from the top. The man himself endorses this. It is a public humiliation that was planned to do this. Now, when these people they're going to be deported. This deportation thing happens in the United Kingdom as well, but it's very discreet. To the extent that some people were already put on the plane. Do you know what happened? Demonstrators went on the tarmac, and the demonstration on the tarmac, the plane couldn't fly. Meanwhile, some people have gone to court and they stopped the deportation. They were deporting people who had no papers. They were deporting them to Rwanda. Rwanda signed a treaty with the United Kingdom that anybody they caught, Home Office court, that doesn't have a paper will be deported to Rwanda. Go and process your paper from Rwanda. If you fail, go to your country from Rwanda, but you cannot stay in the United Kingdom. Rwandan government signed a treaty with the United Kingdom, but the people of the United Kingdom refused that to happen. There was a demonstration on the tarmac. The plane was filled up with people that are going to be deported. The people went on the tarmac and they demonstrated. The plane could not fly. They had to disembark. So what we're talking about here, it is because of the leadership of the nation that will allow this. But if that kind of demonstration happen in America, they will shoot anybody on the tarmac and deport these people. So it's because of the kind of leadership that you have in there. Now, going to the Rwandan treaty. Now, the person that signed that to have that treaty was offered to many African countries. They refused. I'm going to digress a little bit. They refused. Do you know why Rwandan government signed it? The Rwandan government is committing atrocity in Rwanda at the moment. But because they are in the good books of America and United Kingdom, they are looking the other way. Kagame has been in government for 23 years. He kept on changing the constitution to make himself the president. Kept on changing the constitution, just like Mugabe did. But because he's in the good books of United Kingdom and America, he has no sin. Go and check. All the opposition in Rwanda have died mysterious death. Mysterious death. Mysterious death. But what happened? the rest of the world look other way. Oh, he's developing Rwanda. He is doing this, and they kept and signed that so that it will be in the good books of no African country accepted those things except Rwanda. But the people of the United Kingdom stopped it. What we have in America is because the kind of president they have.
Wow, Dr. Olufemi, you just took us through some real good classroom history there. Thank you very much. The Rwanda case and what is happening in the Nigerian situation. So, viewers, we are still discussing. America will be sending some Nigerians back home, 124 of them, and with their names, their photos, and everything has been put out there. And we're saying this is wrong. United States is wrong to treat our people like this, and also publicize their name like as if they are hardened criminals that have killed. These are just immigrants, migrants that don't have documents of stay in that country. Dr. Femi, you do more talking for us. What's happening with Andy, the new Messiah, they call him, without mandate? They say the PM, the Prime Minister, got 130 nomination from his Labour MPs.
Yeah, the MP without no P. Yeah. So yeah, we call the MP without no P. The MP without the MP, the Prime Minister without policy. So we call it MP without P. So what we have is Andy Farnham now coming to office. What we have is it's going to be coronated very soon because it's only almost running unopposed. But this is an in-house coup. In the in-house coup, what is done, he was a mayor of Manchester. And what he did was to drop his office because there was a vacancy in one of the MPs. In the parliamentary office. So what he did was to cross over, resign as a mayor, went that place and go to I can't remember the name of his constituency now. I went to go and contest there. But for him to do that, he must have the signature of the leadership of a Labour Party to drop that and go in there. The leadership refused that, but they pressurized and they went and they got majority endorsement for him. He went to go and contest for that office. Now, when he contested with that office, some of the opposition parties actually downplayed their election for that because they knew the long-term effect was that it was going to destroy Labour Party. What they're doing is going to destroy Labour Party. So they let that happen. But that was what destroyed the Labour Party after Tony Blair. In-house fighting. In-house fighting that took Tony Blair out, that brought Gordon Brown in. After that, they went to the election and they lost woefully. So the same pattern is happening all over again. So what they did, downplay, let them go and destroy themselves. Farnham is coming into Downing Street without a mandate, and there's less than 2 years left in the term in the office to continue. In those 2 years, a lot of political analysts are waiting that they want to see the magic he will do to transform the Labour Party. But the challenge is this: most of unions are up in arms against Labour Party. For example, for my union, University and College Union, that the Union for University Lecturers, now we have serious issues to grant within Labour Party, because that was their campaign issue, was the funding for the universities. They have refused to do it. Now, as I tell you now, by September, about 5 universities in the United Kingdom are closing down. 5 universities in UK are closing shop entirely. And some are merging to another university, some are closing down. So with this now, most of the unions that support the Labour parties are up in arms against them. So we want to see the magic Farnham will do, and the Farnham will do in 2 years, that will transform the fortunes of Labour Party. Unfortunately, my sister, Kemi, bad enough, is standing on the wings and wait to happen. But God forbid, the likes of Farage will capitalize on this. This is a challenge. So we are waiting. So everybody buy your popcorn and cross your leg, because the movie just started.
George, how is Canada copying this? How is Canada looking at this?
Well, we're looking at it from the standpoint of, knowing, it's a parliamentary type of system, which is what we practice here. So interestingly, we are very interested. The 322 Labour MPs, supporting Andy is just showing that Labour Party is looking for a fresh start after Keir Starmer's departure. While the strong backing puts Bonham on the brink of becoming Prime Minister of Britain, the real test won't be winning over MPs. It will be convincing the British public that he can tackle the economy, the cost of living crisis, and restore confidence in the government. A smooth transition is one thing, effective leadership is another. And that is the reason why you see a lot of people, they get in, they make all these promises, and when they get there, all of a sudden things will begin to happen to them, and they'll just back off and resign. And that's really, it's a test. If you go to Japan, it happened in Japan too. You remember how many times did they, it happened in Japan. So what we are looking at is other political parties looking at what is really happening with Labour Party in Britain. Let's watch. I'm buying my popcorn too, and I'm going to watch the movie to see how it's going to pan out at the end of the day, because we are very interested in this, simply because this is the type of parliamentary system that we practice. Yes.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Gentlemen, we can't move on without talking about this escalating hostility between the United States and Iran again. Dr. Femi will say he never believes anything is fair in the issue. So they've started again. Sir George, you tell us. We hear oil price climb again as this tension raises up again. And we thought there's going to be peace. In fact, the videos we saw yesterday, the strikes are even more deadlier than before, because Iranians have come back. All this while they were ceasefire, they were building up more arms and things. That's what they do. Iranians are good at building. So heavy strikes are going. Tell us, George, oil price coming up again in the United States.
Oil price, once again, ordinary people around the world are paying the price for geopolitical tensions created by a handful of powerful leaders. This is what we are suffering today. Okay, every escalation between US and Iran sends oil prices higher. Fuel's inflation makes life more expensive for millions who have no say in this decision making. Now, listen to this though. You see, when they were talking about all these, sending the the vice president of US to go and negotiate. Do you know that they never saw each other face to face? It was only third party that was sending messages in between. And the people that are representing Iran are ordinary people. They have nothing to do with the people that are making decisions. They want war. They want war because they know that they are holding America by the balls, because of the price of goods increasing, and Trump is getting very unpopular. So he was pleading indirectly, please, let's stop this war because I'm becoming very unpopular. So the point we're making right now is this: Iran has taken the upper hands, and that's the reason they don't care. They're used to suffering, so they can suffer. They don't care about their people. But the people in the United States and around the world, like Canada and other places, are suffering. So the problem we have today is that these leaders can make decisions that affect people negatively, but they don't care. Even when there are opportunities, America went to this war not understanding that it will cost them this. They felt Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, was able to convince Trump, and Trump went into this war blindfolded. And we saw when he discovered truly that this is going to cost more than what he wanted, he lashed out. So they are at odds with each other right now. So what we're saying is The global economy should not be held hostage by the ambitions and the egos of these few people. We need to be they need to be considerate. Come on. Come on. Gas prices are going up already. But once that news comes out, and this is what's happening. So we really, really need leaders that will listen to the heart of their people and understand that whatever they say and whatever they do, lives are being affected. Everybody's suffering because of it.
Everybody's suffering because of it. Dr. Olufemi, I know you want to keep your comments. You never believed in any trial.
No. Don't say that. Don't say that. That is too wild. When you come on international politics like this, I want to agree totally with Mark, Sir George on this. The Americans are beating more than they can chew. So they are looking for a way out of this. The key thing I want to pick out for what Sir George says is that the Iranians are used to suffering. So suffer them, it doesn't matter. Even if they kill all their people, the leaders are far separated from their people. They see them as gods. So whatever, if it means them, they will die. Look at how many millions were at the funeral of someone that was bombed to pieces. Look at the kind of cultic burial they gave him. Now, compared to the kind of Western world where everybody has an opinion, in that kind of environment, nobody has opinion. It's a religion that has the opinion, that holds their opinion. So when you're talking about when that kind of leadership give an order, they say we are going to suffer because we want to suffer because of our religion and our beliefs, they will accept it. But in America, everyone will ask me why. Why should I do that? So they are getting unpopular. So they are looking for a way out of this. But by and large, the whole world is being held by the bonds. So until this is resolved, it will still, anyway, it affects international trade. It affects international businesses all over the world. Everywhere. It affects international business. Yeah. So sometimes when I sit down somewhere and some people start quoting with statistics of Nigeria, you are not relating to the fact that there's a crisis in the hormones. So if there's a crisis there, it will have its effect on global business, global inflation. Here, I tell you, the level of inflation in this country at the moment, United Kingdom, is unprecedented. Yesterday, we went shopping to do just grocery in the house. We spent almost £200 buying that. If you tell someone that you to buy just grocery, toiletries, and water, and this and that and that in the house, it will cost you almost 400,000 naira in Nigeria. Somebody say, "What? How can you spend that kind of?" That is it. That is it. It is a ripple effect that is affecting the whole world. So inflation is here.
But the thing there is you have that cash in the United Kingdom. There are opportunities. The standard of living is higher.
My standard of living. No, my standard of living is I am more of a middle class here compared to someone that works per hour. I am a lecturer, here. But what are the people that do per hour? Some people do zero-hour contract. 0-hour contract. If there's no job, they don't think.
You know something. World leaders must remember that political brinkmanship has real human consequences. Nigeria just died in Ukraine because of the stupidity between these two countries, two brothers that are fighting, and people are dying. Can you imagine that? What are they fighting for? What is it? What are they fighting for?
Ego.
Just ego. Putin will not back down. Though he thought he was going to wipe out these people, in a few weeks, just like US and Israel thought that they're going to kill all the leaders in Iran, and then all of a sudden a new leadership will emerge.
They've done in the past in some African countries. Eventually, what they do is that they leave the country in tatters and they walk away. So they've done it.
it now affects every other person.
Every other
Somehow,
person.
somehow, every country now suffers. Libya, we're suffering
Look at
Libya's
Libya.
invasion.
Thank you.
Arms are being proliferated brought into Nigeria because of
and
the
all
fall of Libya.
other countries in that region. Every other country in that region is suffering from insecurity just because of the shenanigans of America.
This is why we will have to stand firm in this network. We need to, because what most network do is to say things politically, like they say, sound political, sound the way it should sound. So, but we want to be sounding friendly and really look into things in that realistic, ordinary, real human eye scope. That's the essence of what we are doing here. Gentlemen, let's go further into some small discussion before we wrap it up. The governors in Nigeria are talking now about the policing. They are giving out some factors that might arise. One of it is the governor becomes the supreme security leader in that state. Dr. Olufemi, what would be the challenges of state policing? We've advocated for it. We all want it. Demerits also.
Definitely. It's a new phenomenon. There will be merit and demerit. I know there was a challenge that were doing the regional government. During the regional government, there was a crisis, There was a crisis in the southwest, which is called Wetie, because the government was more controlled by the West, like the AG group, AG Action Group. They were able to stand with the government while the federal side had issues with that. So also we're going to have that. But the thing is, there might be challenges when let's say there's a governor from one party, the House of Assembly controlled by another party. And then there was the issue of funding, issue of use of force, and all this stuff. But the thing is this, until there's a saying that says that the only way to eat an elephant is to cut it into pieces. Right? So you cannot eat an elephant in a whole. So this means that until we start dealing with it bit by bit, we cannot deal with the issue of policing, state policing. But at the fact that we already agreed that should be state policing, first and foremost, let us secure our environment. We begin to deal with it. Issues will come. Some state governors will use them against their opponent. Some people will use them against their friends or their enemies. Some people will use them against their maybe they want to oppress. It will definitely happen. It happened when we have a federal police. So some people will use them. Listen, in Nigeria, people say government. Government is not our problem. We are the government. Each time another set of people come, they create another trouble. Another set of people come, they create another trouble. These people that they're talking about, by the time they get to the power of the police in the center, some of them will start misusing it. But the thing is, we begin to put checks and balances in order to manage this. It will come. You cannot eat elephant in a hole. You have to cut it bit by bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. The bottom line is, there is an economic term that says do anything for which the benefits exceeds the cost. Okay? The benefit of state policing is far more beneficial than the cost of it. So those issues that will come up, we'll mitigate it when that time comes. But the bottom line is we are heading somewhere. And when it is fully functional, all of us will benefit, especially concerning this insurgency and the Islamic terrorism in Nigeria, whereby when the time comes, local policing will help a lot, because we've seen the advantages of even some of these security forces, like Sunday what he's doing and all those type of things. So we applaud. I know that a lot of people will come out with some of these disadvantages of this, or the governor will do this. No. We will take care of it when that time comes. We are heading somewhere. If need be, we might detour and come back to the same road again in order to come to that way where we are looking at. So we must have state policing. We've been talking about this for 2.5 years on this platform.
This platform.
Yes.
That means somebody is listening to us.
I'm telling you, they are. So let's continue with this.
Yeah.
Let's continue with it. Thank you.
Let's continue with this. viewers, this is it. We have to also look at our time. But normally, before we go, gentlemen, we have those last words for the day.
Before we go to the last one, there are two things I want us to quickly talk about. Mrs. Anne Whittingham just passed. She was 78. She was an MP. MP, is also a minister in this country for some time during the Labour Party government and all that stuff. She was one of the strong advocates for Christian ethos in governance. She passed early this morning. She was 78. Very, very strong political person. So may I so rest in peace. Second one, I also want us to discuss quickly was that's a comment by one Mr. I think Odika Kalu. I can't remember his first name, but his name is Kalu. He was head of Amnesty International. He made a statement about 2031 that the president is working towards doing a third term. And that is a very volatile statement from him. This is a man that has always been controversial. There was a man that wrote a petition against the Nigerian army when the army was seriously against Boko Haram, flushing them out in the northeast. This Kalu man wrote a serious petition against Nigerian army, so they said that UN begin to threaten to sanction the Nigerian army, because what they did that when they go after Boko Haram, what they said, what the Chief of Defense said down is what they were trying to do. That when you go after them, flush them out. Don't take prisoners, flush them out. You know what these people did? They started doing documentary on it, and they package it, and they sent to the United Nations that Nigerian army is doing extrajudicial killing, and therefore they sanctioned them. They stopped it. So this is a man that's advocating this now. Let us be careful.
Yes, sometimes these individuals want to make a mark for themselves. So they look for any angle, loopholes to come in and put their own, and they're not looking at the repercussion that whatever they're doing would have on future governance and Nigeria and our people. So I've been following him to what he said to this one he said yesterday. I think that's an ambiguous statement, and that could cause some real conflict.
He was even against state policing. He's against it.
Yes. Okay, George wants to add to that. George, what's your take on that?
There are some things that are not even worth us, paying attention. Because when you talk about it, you give them credence, and we don't want to do that. My only last word is I am pleading with the Nigerian government to understand that leadership is measured by how a government responds when its people are in danger, not issuing routine statements after the damage is done. Please, let's ensure that every single individual in South Africa is removed from that place. Many of them are still standing in front of the High Commission's
Commission.
And begging. If South Africa refuses to curb these recurring xenophobic attacks against us, Nigeria should move beyond diplomatic niceties and pursue firm diplomatic and economic measures that will make it clear that the safety of Nigerians is non-negotiable. Please, we are begging, we are pleading. These are human lives. These are the citizens of our country. Let them come home, please. And all this soft handling of South Africa is not supposed to be. Look at the way Ghana is moving. Ghana refusing the president of South Africa coming back. And they are refusing to sign that his brother got a certificate to mine gold in Ghana. They stopped it. Nigeria we ought to be more firm than Ghana. Come on.
And stop the activity of MTN in Nigeria.
But you guys do something.
DSTV.
Also, take note that Nigerians in South Africa, Nigerians can be very forceful too. Nigerians in South Africa have gone ahead to create their own region. Interesting. Yes. They've created a region where South Africans can't even come. It is like coming to London and going to one part of London, Hackney or somewhere, and taking it over. Yeah, that's what's happening. and they are doing it with all their strength. And so this is Nigerians for you. Before you know, years to come, that part will be Nigerian South Africa. So this is
that's why the King of England, King Charles said, Nigeria know they come last too.
They come last. So you know why? Because you have some Nigerians in South Africa that have been there all their lives. They've been there for 40 years now. Even while apartheid was going on, they were even there too. And they don't see themselves going back to any other place. So, and somehow the xenophobia is affecting them. So they say, let's create our own nation. Can you imagine?
Before you know it, an Igbo man will stand up and want to become the king.
Or even the president. No, they'll probably legitimize it by making president and governors and all of
it. Royal Highness.
Anyway, yeah,
right,
George, thank you for that. We want to say that also more to the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Please do more to get those that want to go, because they really want to go. A lot of them said they are being threatened. Their lives are not secure. They are afraid of what will happen to them and their families, their children. So they are there standing by our embassy in South Africa and want to come home. So I know some people will say, who sent them there in the first place?
Well, they're there to survive. Nigerians know they will stay one place. They're all over the world.
Yes, life can catch up with anybody. So this is that time when the leadership of Nigeria can look into these citizens and just help them. Bringing people back home is not too much for federal government to do. We can do this. All right, gentlemen. Let me also give you the good news that SSM is fully strong. Our ratings are going high. Viewers, we want to thank you. Those of you that are following, some people are following very, very strong. Our ratings are going high. We want to go further. There are plans to make it stronger, make it bigger, and also get some more people, politicians as guests, so we can also hear from them. So on this note, we want to thank everybody that has been with us throughout the week. Between the Lines, Wednesday African Update, and today International Update. And we have legends here. Dr. Femi is a legend. We hit ourselves those bars behind the scene, but George is
when we get here, we are nationalists.
Yes,
now, we are.
God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bless our president and his family. Bless all the leaders, all the way to the local government chairman and the leaders, that our country will go further. We pray for our leaders in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. You have a fantastic weekend. God bless.